There's this idea, we're backstaging still at Yachtley Crew. This idea came to me. I got a pretty good case of loving you, darling. Pretty good case of loving you, baby. Pretty good case of loving you. Don't tell me it's time to go home. Don't tell me it's time to go home. You're talking about a particular character called the Greeter?
He was known as the Greeter.
And where was he at?
I believe he was in Laguna Beach, so when you came into town off of Laguna Canyon, he would be there waving everybody in, saying hello.
Really?
I think he wore stilts, if I remember correctly.
What did he dress as? Did he wear a mask or anything?
Almost like an Uncle Sammy-ish kind of, coat and tails and suitish, if I remember correctly.
Like a 1920s gentleman or something, huh? Did he have a top hat or anything?
Like 113 or something?
And everyone just called him the Greeter?
I just remember it was the Greeter. It was just some guy. Now, I think there was more than one guy that did it.
So they would take places? And so just one day he showed up?
You're taxing my memory.
How often was he out there?
I used to see him out there. This is like only a number of years ago.
So it's like performance art.
Oh, sorry to interrupt. You've been around here
He's
for a while,
talking about
right?
the Greeter. Who's the Greeter?
Remember the Greeter? They called him the Greeter. It was the kind of the guy that dressed up and would stand on the road there when you came into Laguna and he would just wave to everybody. No. Am I the only one? Okay, I'm making all this up. Forget it.
Well, who else do you know who did you get a chance to talk to about this? Like, who is this strange guy, or like what? Because there must have been those times where you wondered about his story, like what got him there, what made him decide to do this. Is it performance art?
I think it was something that was kind of a combination of everything, and that.
Thank God.
He was kind of sanctioned by the city. He was actually acknowledged by the city. I don't think he was paid. He may have.
So he just decided to start doing it.
I'm gonna recheck that. It may have been a paid thing.
Maybe they put him there to greet people.
It may have been. I don't know.
That would be an interesting documentary, now, wouldn't it?
Yeah, you got enough difference.
So Yachtley Larson, he's a Danish vagabond, and then your parents were the first ones to tell you about him?
Well, no, I just remember being a kid, and came up in conversation somewhere. I just remember, because the Danish community, everybody knows.
So they talked about him. Now, did you see him?
Oh yeah, then I saw him when I was a kid come in.
They must have been interesting. So you heard the stories, like a myth, and then all of a sudden you see this folk legend, so to speak.
And that was probably like mid-70s, early mid-70s.
It's incredible.
I was 15, and I was a little...
But it feels...
Yachtley Larson, it's so crazy to think.
I was 10 years old when, getting kind of shuttled your first trips to the beach with some kid's neighbor or whatever, and I remember hearing,
So it's saying here that he died in 1975. I mean, you probably saw him.
This was early 70s.
Stoney.
Yes, sir.
There was somebody from Whittier on the website just now.
Of course there was. He grew up in Whittier.
I didn't grow up there. I rented an apartment there.
Oh my God! Isn't that nuts, dude? We cannot escape it. Oh, it's time to go, time to have a good show. It's time to go, time to have a good show. Time to go, it's time to have a good show. It's time to go, it's time to have a good show.
Well, that was totally surreal. I don't know what I did to deserve that, but thank you very much.
We are going to go on a trip here. Rent was due the 1st. This is the 8th, Infinity Day. And so these Yachtley Crew shows, the checks came through, and we're gonna go pay this rent. I'm wearing a new Yachtley Crew t-shirt that these guys have put out. It's really cool. It looks like something from Miami Vice. Black t-shirt. There's a boat, a yacht, if you will. Wonderful gradients.
yellow, blue, and white. And it definitely adds to the mystique. And of course the personality of that which is Yachtley Crew, Titans of Soft Rock. Last night we played in Stillwater. As some of you heard, that episode, my modus operandi is to record more of the guys, interviews with each of them, how they got to where they're at, what intrigued them about joining a yacht rock band, aspects of the band that they enjoy the most, and getting into the minds of those guys. Because as it is, unless you're friends with people, there's no way to know what's going on in their heads, is there? Yes, we can look at body language. Sometimes even that can be misinterpreted. See someone with a frowny face, you think, oh, they hate me for some reason. Ooh, am I putting them in that sour mood? No. Perhaps they're just deep in thought about something. And they got that serious look on their face. If you don't know someone, even if you know someone, we're only getting a tiny aspect of that. I was reading this article about how we, each of us, are a completely different person to every single person who meets us. Nobody really knows our fullest essence, our fullest spectrum. We each have our interests, our intrigues, our chosen callings, and subjects that we like to geek out on. And so there are those that we share those aspects with that we couldn't share with the other folks. Let's say, for instance, if I had a bunch of poker friends that we every weekend we play poker on this particular night, and maybe they don't talk. Maybe they're just silent the whole time. Well, are these the people that I'm going to start geeking out on about synchronicities? Or, I don't know, any number of things. Well, I don't know. You don't really, there's that specific aspect, and then there's the other aspect. And there are all these full spectrum of all these different versions of us. This is why we might see our friends acting differently among other friends. There's a certain pull or inspiration that they get in revealing that side of themselves to those people that maybe they don't either feel comfortable around sharing with us, or for instance, see, I'm going to talk about this in a broad term. Let's say you got a friend who's overly critical and just judging all the time, critiquing. And you've got a history built in your brain of things where, times where you shared what you felt were extraordinary things of interest, discoveries, epiphanies, and they answer with, well, see, the problem is, or, oh no, that would never work, or, whatever it is, very dismissive of things. Now, that same person, if you, let's say you do something that you don't tell them about, and they end up finding out about that through other channels or through other people, and they're like, well, why didn't you tell me about that? Why wasn't I invited? How come? Oh, geez, you don't care about me. Why don't you tell me about it? What, I'm not good enough to know about these things? I just don't feel inspired to tell these things to you. Look at this is the reaction I'm being met with. This is a similar reaction I most likely would have been met with had I told you about this particular news. It's not necessarily hiding, it's just not sharing with that particular mindset, and yet shared with other mindsets. Okay, we will not be paying rent today. Wait, what? Saturday. Excuse me, is today Sunday?
Today is Monday. Nope.
Is there a special holiday happening today?
I'm sorry, it is Sunday, my bad.
Wait, it is Sunday?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I was trying to figure out why it's so dark in there. Now it makes sense. That makes sense. I was going to come in and go to the bank.
You got sunglasses on and it's dark. So
Oh, gosh.
It's double dark.
It is double. It's definitely double dark. Sheesh. It's so dark there aren't even any shadows moving in there. Well, thank you. Thank you so much. So, I guess we won't be paying the rent today. However, good news, since we are here at the store, we can get the groceries that we need, which is always important. Always important. Believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, it is always important to get your groceries when you are at a grocery store. If you're there, why not get them? It's the best place, hands down, to get groceries. Is at a grocery store. Actually, not hands down. Flip it, reverse it, flip that, reverse it. The best place to get groceries is the farmer. A farmer you can trust. A farmer who it's like you know how they tend to their field. Or even, have you heard about this? This is intriguing to me. The idea of growing, they're not necessarily, I guess they're farms, gardeners. They don't use land. They don't use an expansive amount of land. They grow it up. They grow it up. There are these warehouses. I was reading in Japan, these guys, because they don't have room out there for land to be able to grow farms, they gotta grow up in these warehouses. It's that idea of hydroponic. Growing it inside. And it saves room. You can grow so much more. You're saving water. There's just so much about it. You're not dealing with all the crazy elements. I'm sure there's a much easier way to keep out bugs, things of that nature. You don't have to spray pesticides because you have control over the environment. That's the kind of farmer. I think I'm going to look into this little conversation with us. I think has inspired me to look into growing things on my balcony. Growing my own vegetables on the balcony. I've heard it before, and sounds like a good method to utilize. Heck, Just doing the best you can with what you got. That's the key. Doing the best you can with what you've got. The best you can. The best you can. What do you got? And do something with it. The Wizard of LA and I were talking the other day about Weird Al Yankovic. And I think we touched upon it too with the podcast about with Craig. The title of it is called Kurt and Craig Talk Process. And in that one, we're talking all about the process of creating. The process of creating. And how Weird Al, he made Another One Rides the Bus right there in his bathroom. Just his accordion and right there. Put it out there to Dr. Demento. And then before you know it, it's played all over the radio. People are going crazy over it. And it's awesome. And it's amazing. It's a hit. What did Weird Al do? He did the best he could with what he had. Did the best he could with what he had. He had an accordion. He knew he could play that. He had a bathroom. He knew he could sit in there. He had a tape recorder. He sat that down. He knew he could record things on there. And then bam. And then bam. There it was. There it was. He made the song. What is this? We are... What is going on here? Huh. Alright, let's test it. So, that's the thing. Looking at what you have. That's what's so kick-ass about this Anchor app. Man, I cannot stop praising this. I praise this app outside of the app as much as I do inside of the app. So you guys hear me going flipping out about it all the time. Well, everybody, most people that I come across who I know are creative or looking for an outlet or have a lot to say, who maybe write down a lot of ideas, who just feel like they have nowhere to put their ideas or that no one wants to listen to them. I would say start a podcast with the intention that no one will listen to you. Make a podcast, the best of all, make the podcast that you want to hear. That's it. Make the podcast you want to hear. Make the podcast that entertains you. Do that. There's no consequence. The idea is to live as much in that mindset, artistically. It's the greatest joy, living without that fear of consequence, and replacing it with living with the excitement of creation. Replace fear of consequence, replace that with excitement of creation. Replace that, and you will see noticeable changes in the things that you create and the way that you feel about what you're creating. If people enjoy it, that's fantastic. That's a side benefit, isn't it? Especially if you set out creating something that you enjoy, that you know that you will like listening to, and someone says, "Oh, I like this too." It's just the added benefit. It's an unexpected surprise at that point. It is something that you smile at. You go, wow, that was so much fun. It wasn't something I was reaching for, right? You're not reaching for it. It's just something that you're testing out, giving it a try. What would be the harm in treating it like an experiment? What is the biggest harm in that? What's the biggest harm? Give me all the reasons. What's the biggest harm? How does that hurt you physically, mentally, emotionally, whatever? How? And why? Why would it hurt you? Those of you who have the Anchor app, I love the participation aspect of it. It's so much fun. Spidey Heck gave me a call yesterday through the Anchor app during our sound check. It sounded like a crazy Armageddon in there because they're testing out the drums, they're testing out the, all the different aspects. So he called during that, and little did I realize there were like 4 other people on the app. One of them was Awesome Sauce, which is great, the Awesome Sauce podcast. I've left a theme song for Awesome Sauce podcast, and then Awesome Sauce, I believe, ended up leaving me back a theme song, which is extraordinary. There's that idea of being happy and doing what you love for the sake of doing it. For the sake of doing it. Isn't that funny? A lot of times we'll have these great conversations with producers, with creators, and then it's funny because you'll find yourselves getting to a moment in the conversation where you go, oh yeah, we agree doing, yep, that's where it's at, creating something for the sake of creating it. And then it's funny because a lot of times then, a little bit after that, sometimes I've noticed, sometimes the person will go, yeah, but then how are you supposed to make money at it? See, it seems like they throw that extra thing in there. It's not a yeah, but it's not really a yeah, but philosophy. It's just it's the idea of creating what you want to see in the world. That's it. Creating it for the sake of creating it. Creating it for the sake of having fun and because it puts a smile on your face. Creating it because you have whatever tools you have to be able to create that. That's what it is. That's what it is. Right there. That's it. That's it. It's a complete surrender to the craft, to the creation. That's what it is. The other stuff is extra added bonuses. I was recently reading about a guy named Clutchy Hopkins. A guy named Clutchy Hopkins. He's this miser who apparently lives in a cave. He does this wonderful... they file his music under experimental hip-hop, etc., rap. But it's mostly like this jazz stuff. Oh, excuse me, where's the cilantro? Do you guys have cilantro?
It's a little ways down.
Oh, thank you. Cilantro. There it is. I'm going to start giving this to the cats. Let's start giving this to the cats and see how they like it. I think they're going to love it. From what Jenny tells me, cat Oliver just goes crazy. So maybe Gonzo will too. My little buddy Gonzo, Dr. Gonzo. You'll sometimes hear him featured. Hold on, let me put you in my pocket for a second. Oh, actually, here, I'll put you in the basket. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for your patience. So, it's creating it for the sake of creating it. Once again, I'm going to point out John Garside, the Forgotten Tales maestro, the man who's out there making documentaries about Whittier, about local history, bringing people together, bringing them enlightenment, and allowing them to then be aware of what happened and went on where they grew up. Because you can look at it with fresh eyes now. How crazy is that? You could say, oh, this thing was invented here, this thing was invented there, this is where this happened. And then people can look at that now and go, oh my God, that's so crazy. They walk around in their town, and then it becomes this whole brand. A guy just walked past with a dog in his grocery cart. Nowhere but Los Angeles would you see that. Definitely not in Chicago. It's so interesting how out here, how pet friendly they are with stuff. It's quite interesting. I wonder what would happen if someone started bringing their dogs into the grocery store in Chicago. Do you guys have that where you live? Maybe some of you live in California, where that's a. Perhaps you do it yourself. Perhaps you do it yourself. So, John Garside, he goes out there with his camera, whatever equipment he gets. It's his passion that rubs off on people. It's the passion. Let me see if I could find some iodine. I wonder if they got iodine here.
I don't know.
Hi, miss. Do you have iodine here by any chance?
Iodine, no.
Okay, thanks.
There's a CVS right across the street.
Oh, great. Great, thank you. So it looks like we got pretty much everything we need on the list. I just need some gum. That's what I gotta get. I gotta get some more gum. Here we go. There we go. Whoops. There we go. All right, well, we're going to take it through the line here. See what happens here. Zip. There we go. I think we got everything on the list. The only thing on the list that was not done is paying the rent, which will happen tomorrow. It'll have to happen tomorrow. Have to. Hold your horses, everybody. Hold your horses. Yeah, we got it all. Good day.
How are you?
Great. How are you? I have this. I haven't used one of these yet. My mom sent me one of these in the mail. So I can't wait to try that out.
Do you need a bag?
Oh my gosh, yes, please.
Yeah.
I think this will all fit in one bag.
Yes.
That's my premonition. And you, as the expert, you'd know
I
best,
just
huh?
want to shove everything in.
Yeah. Just squash it all in there. It'll fit somehow. Oh, yeah.
One more time.
Do I do...
Run.
So this won't charge me twice?
Okay.
Oh, good.
There you go.
Wow, that was fast and quick and easy. Thank you. That was one of the quickest situations I've had at Ralph's in my life. Fast, quick, simple. All right, well. Let's get an extra bag. It's also time to clean out the litter box. Not that you need to know that. It's just something nice to know. Hey, man, I think it's great you're out here playing your guitar and serenading the populace. What's your name?
Clayton, man.
What's your name?
Clayton.
Clayton. And do you have music out there in the world that people can hear, like online or anything?
Nah.
No? You just like to jam in various places?
I just like to play my guitar for fun.
That's awesome, dude. Well, thanks for providing this service.
I might have some stuff on the radio. I'm still trying to figure that out.
Oh,
I
good.
think maybe, yeah.
Do you have stuff recorded?
I have been in a studio before, and I used to record for fun. And
Have you uploaded it to online or anything?
how am I gonna do that?
Well, like, just digitally. I got a radio station. I like to play people's music on it.
I don't have a digital device. They won't.
Oh,
No
gotcha.
phone, nothing. I can't get an Obama phone.
I got you.
I get one. They give me excuses on why I can't have one,
Oh.
but they'll give everybody else one.
Oh.
I got specific information.
Oh.
I don't even know. I don't.
Well, someday you'll get a phone. You'll be able to record stuff and put it out there in the world. And
They make it difficult to me because they can, but everybody else does it. It's so freaking hard to get a phone.
you'll find a way. You'll find a way.
I am too.
All right. Take care, man.
Thank you.
Have a good one. So, right there, isn't that interesting? We talk about this idea of doing the best you can with what you got. And what did we find there? In the grocery store? A man with his guitar. Just sitting there. He had a broken string. Wanted to promote this guy. As one can imagine, you heard the dialogue. As one can imagine. I get a great thrill out of offering people opportunities, particularly, not specifically, particularly if they might be of a lacking mindset, lacking in abundance, lacking in what they feel that, resources. That guy, for instance, could sing some beautiful song right there, and someone could hear that and go, that's great. That would be great. I'm making a movie. That would be great for my soundtrack. We could put that in there. How cool would that be? Take that song, we'll put it right in my soundtrack. Imagine it now. Imagine it now. Or someone like me. Hey, that's a great song. Let me record you. Let me just record you right through my handy microphone here. Put you on an anchor. That goes up to iTunes. Now guess what? Your song is on iTunes. I don't know if I said this to you guys or not, but Inspirado Projecto is now available on Spotify. It's on Spotify. I was looking all up and down the internet. When I first started this podcast, I wanted to find out where are all the resources that accept podcasts. The RSS feed. I knew very little about what an RSS feed, and I before I started with doing a podcast, and I could definitely say that I do not know much more about it than I do now. As my Uncle Arnie would say, long, long ago, I started with nothing. And I can proudly say that today, I still have most of it left. Man, words of wisdom. Words of wisdom. So, the RSS feed. I looked around, up and down, all around, diagonal-wise, upside-down-wise, side-down, up-wise. I looked all over the interwebs, scoured the interwebs, as one might say, looking for where can you actually upload these podcasts? Where can you share them with the populace? Where are the best places for Johnny Appleseed to plant his seeds? where are those best places? So, found a whole bunch. They said Spotify was a good one. I mean, there's a whole bunch. So, then I looked into how do I get it on a Spotify? And it turns out that you had it was interesting. There were certain services that if you had your podcast on these particular sites, they had this, like you could not submit it directly to Spotify. However, if you had one of these services, there's one called Libsyn. I think it's Libsyn. They're Blueberry, Blubrry, the premium service. So each of these, if you, they're services that you pay for. And I'm using Anchor. God bless America for Anchor. They don't charge you anything to make a podcast. How cool is that? To put your thoughts, your ideas, your philosophies, your theories, your epiphanies, your revelations, your synchronicities, your interviews with random people. You can put it out there into the world for your future children, your future grandchildren to hear. I would have loved it if my grandpa, any of my grandparents had saved, had journaled into tape recorders and saved it. I would have loved to hear that stuff. Can you imagine coming across something that your grandparents had created, some huge insight of revelation, some huge insight, some epiphany, and you're listening to it and you're going, oh my God, this woman was, around the same age I am now, or, a few years older, even younger than I am now, and they had these similar epiphanies that I had when I was that age and or that I have right now. How interesting would that be to document that? To look at that. Folks call those metrics. The data, the metrics data. So now I end up learning that Anchor puts our podcasts onto Spotify. So that's 12 places total. That's just through Anchor alone. Google Play, HomePod, Google Podcasts, Overcast, what is it called? Podcast Republic, I believe. They've got so many, Podbean. So many opportunities for anyone to just stumble across what you got that you're creating. And guess what? It might highly reverberate with something that someone else is on the wavelength of. If you're okay, check this out. If you're driving along and you're flipping through the radio dials, where do you stop? On a station that there's like, ooh, what's that? There's a song on there. Ooh, that catches my ear. And then you stay on that for a little bit longer. And you go, what else is here? What else we got? Then you might find another good song. It's kind of like these podcasts. Someone finds something that reverberates with them, and they decide to stick with you. They decide to go on the journey with you. And if they decide to, they can then contribute to that reality experience. You can share that reality experience. Kitties. Hi there. Take a look in the bag. Let's see what's in there. What's in there? Want to look in the bag, Oliver? What's in there? Cats are circling the bag like they're circling the stagecoach. Oh, do you guys smell the cilantro? I bet you do. Well, guess what? After I take this stuff out of here, you're going to get some, my little friends. You're going to get some. That's right. Don't think you won't, because you will. Do not think you will not. Do not think you will not, because guess what? You will. Guess what? You will. Will. So, ladies and gentlemen, this concludes this portion of the podcast. You know what? Maybe I'll read some quick stuff, maybe 10 minutes out of the idea book after this. I'm going to unpack these groceries. I trust that your days are going phenomenally. If you happen to visit podcastawards.com and you see a button on there that says nominate your favorite podcast, I would not hate it at all if you clicked on there and voted for Inspirado Projecto as Best Art Podcast. Inspirado Projecto is also up for the Adam Curry Award. Adam Curry was a DJ, video jockey. Some jockeys ride the horses. This jockey rides the videos. That's the other award. Adam Curry Award and Best Arts Podcast. If you agree, please feel free to vote. And I talked to the guy organizing it about the privacy issues. He said they will not sell your information. It's just so no one cheats. It's just so there's no spam. So, that's there for you. Take care for now. So we heard a thank you. If I didn't say this earlier, we heard a thank you from Talking Animals podcast. They are fresh to the Anchor verses, the one verse of Anchor. And so I left a theme song for her. And that was her thank you. If I didn't mention it, I'm mentioning it now. I'm mentioning it right now. We just got back from going to the grocery store together, didn't we? Cooking up some of the sweet potatoes I got. Found some of these Morningstar crumbles in the freezer. So we'll be adding that. I brought up Clutchy Hopkins in the grocery store. Here's a little sample. This is the guy who was a hermit living in a cave, and somehow he ends up creating stuff and then also and putting it out there. Who would have thought that a hermit in a cave would be creating sounds that other people out there in the world would hear? He also let me get his first album here. He also collaborates with other people somehow. I don't know where they find him, how it's happening. He's on a record label called Ubiquity, apparently. So check this out. Check out the smoothness. Isn't that awesome? So good. So good. Here's someone creating what they want to create in the world. Little did he realize that he'd get people to hook onto this guy. At this point, he's like a cult classic to so many musicians. That's you, my friends. My friend, it's you. It's you. Nobody else in the world has your perspective. Isn't that neat? You might share perspectives with others. No one else is you. And what you do. That's pretty cool. That's really cool, huh? I love hearing the foreigners. I'm out here in the U.S., so every time I hear someone with an accent, I'm like, oh, that's great. These people are out here. I get to hear what's going on in their life. Hear what's going on. Sometimes someone has a southern accent. So now I get to hear what's going on in the South. What's going on over? Whoops. What's going on over there? What are these people thinking about? Just fascinating to me. I encourage any of you, all of you, oh, by the way, oh my God, I'm going to take you on a journey. You know what we're doing here? Wow. Okay, so yeah, we're cooking up the potatoes, and guess what? The ozonator just stopped. So this is what we're going to do. I got bananas at the grocery store. And one of the things I like to do after I ozonate my water, got Clutchy Hopkins as our soundtrack. I like to ozonate my water. Let's see. That's what we do. This is how we do it, darling. This is how we do it, darling. This is how we do it, darling. Gonna get a banana. Get a banana. Organic banana. Hey, that's an organic banana. You heard that right. You heard that right. You heard that right. So, okay, we put this. This is the what you hear it dropping into is the magic bullet. The official magic bullet cup. Then I pour the ozonated water into this. Here it goes. Then next order of beeswax. This is what we do. This is exactly what we do. By the way, welcome to my podcast laboratory. Where is that, you say? It's everywhere. With the invention of Anchor, I can go anywhere I want. And that's my podcast studio. No need for big clunky microphones. Okay, so this is peanut butter right here. Big knifeful right there. Hear that? That's the ridge. For all of you ASMR folks. Here we go. Check it out. Might be loud, so, feel free to close your ears. This is the magic bullet with ozonated water, banana, and peanut butter. Here we go. I think it's good, don't you? I think that's a pretty good amount. How about you? Are you done hearing that loud noise? Alright, here we go. We're going to shut it off. Get ready. Alright. It probably took a little longer than usual, folks, because I was stirring up my lunch at the same time. This is kind of a breakfast item, if you think about it. If I think about it, this is kind of a breakfast item. And as you get to be an adult, you can say, guess what? I'm drinking my my dessert before I eat my dinner. Or lunch, as it were. I guess this is a breakfast and a lunch, right? Brunch. So, is there? Oh my gosh! Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. We're about to drink it. Here we go. That is refreshing. That's delightful. Wow. That actually would be really cool. I was just thinking. I was just thinking of a milkshake, like a milkshake shop where you put ozonated water into your milkshakes. It would be like I guess a Jamba Juice kind of place. Like you got, fruits, vegetables, great stuff. I wonder if Jamba Juice has their own farms, where their own gardens, where they're growing this stuff in. That would just add a whole new thing. Imagine if you go to the Jamba Juice, go visit the Jamba Juice farm, and see the vegetables or fruits and what the conditions are and all that jazz. Who knows? Maybe they'd play classical music for the plants. I know I would. Also, what I'd do is I'd hook up those nifty MIDI sprouts. Look into MIDI sprout. I've talked about it before on here. MIDI sprout. Actually, now that we're talking about it, I think I'm going to take you guys through the MIDI sprout. It's Clutchy Hopkins, ladies and gentlemen. All right, here we go. We're going to look up MIDI sprout examples. Plants. MIDI sprout plants. All right, here we go. Ooh, this says here, listening to a cannabis plant. Oh no, I think we did that one. Interesting. Here's something. It says, hiking with MIDI sprout, sick plant versus healthy plant.
Hey everybody, this is Joe here. I'm in Tansadek National Park here on Koh Phangan in Thailand. And I'm about to just go on a little hike here. There's a waterfall up this mountain, so I'm just going to go check out the top of this mountain, maybe listen to some plants along the way. One of the things I enjoy about...
Okay, let's see.
Here connected, I always have 2 pairs of leads on me, so I can just swap stuff out really easily. We have to buy something, maybe thriving. It's doing pretty well. There's some new leaves there.
Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
All turned on. I am just going to plug this in and we'll listen.
How beautiful is that? That's music from plants out there in the wild. Beautiful, healthy plants. Wow. Let's see. Wow, how cool is that, huh? When you think about that. I mean, that's the plant. That's the plant's actual communication right there. We're hearing its communication. Someday we will be able to translate those. How cool is that? Someday that opportunity will arise. Wow. Wow. I'm just blown away. I am blown away that these kinds of things are happening. Man. Well, you guys, this has been another enlightening episode. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for just being awesome and continuing to create stuff. Always feel free, if you're on Anchor, feel free to leave me a message. If you're not on Anchor, feel free to get Anchor so we can collaborate together. It's the biggest thrill for me. The biggest thrill. Just think, what do you have available to you? Oh, I don't know what my podcast would be about. Well, name it this podcast. Right? Just name it this, capital THIS, this podcast. And you could easily just simply read out what's in your kitchen or what's in your living room or anything. Talk about your memories, if Disney for some reason is coming to mind. Let's say if you like Disney a lot, and you collect a lot of Disney stuff. You could go around your apartment and talking about where you got each of these Disney statues or action figures or masks or what have you. Talk about where you got them, your fond memories. I guarantee you, for everything that might seem like a completely obscure thing, there's someone else out there looking for that thing. They just don't realize it yet. That's the funny thing. They're sitting there going, man, I'm tired of all this mainstream stuff. I'm tired of whatever's just normally played on the radio. Like, give me something new. Give me something different. Give me something different. I need something fun. Something that I can, geek out over with my buddies who love this same type of stuff. Bam. That's you. That's you right there. That's you. So, take care. Be kind. And keep that in mind.